Hey everyone, I'm Duke Nougat 3D here again to show you another item from my collection, and today we have my US Navy and Air Force MCU-2A Chemical Biological Protective Mask. Now the history is a bit long on this mask, so I'm not going to get too into it. I'll just give you a brief rundown. The MCU-2P series was developed off of the failed XM29, XM30 projects developed by ILC Dover in the 1970s for the U.S. Army, which ultimately they failed and cost the Army about $5 million in today's money. Scott Aviation took up the project afterwards, and they sort of revamped it as the MCU-2P series. However, they could not produce the mask in significant numbers due to production complications that ILC Dover had also experienced while making the XM30. And by the time the Gulf War rolled around, they handed the contract over to MSA, who became the sole and primary producer of the mask series to this current date. The MCU-2AP was adopted for service in 1983 and is beginning to get phased out of service with the Joint Service General Purpose Mask series, M50. But as far as I know, it is still currently in use for training here and there, but probably not very widely. The mask is overall a very interesting design. However, it does have many flaws, hence why ILC Dover ultimately dropped the project and moved on to the XM40 series instead of continuing on trying to fix the issues with it. But anyhow, before I get into that, let's go over the kit of the mask, and we'll show off all of that before I get into the details of the mask. As I've said, I'm kind of tripping over my words here. Here's the carrier. There is interestingly no external markings. However, earlier variants did have markings on the front that said something like Mask Chemical Biological MC2P series or something like that. Then contract numbers and all that. But anyhow, other side of the carrier. The carrier is made out of a very durable nylon fabric reinforced with plastic plates for protection of the face piece and also rigidity to easily remove and replace the mask in its carrier. You have an L marking for a size large. There used to be a size large mask with this carrier, but not anymore. The carrier is not any differently sized. You have the long waist and shoulder strap, and there is a pocket up here for storing the waist and shoulder strap when it is not in use. And when it is not in use, you are usually, this was rarely done, but you have this strap here which can be undone so you can hang the carrier off of your Alice belt. But again, this was very rarely done, if ever. I've never seen any photographs of this being done before in service. You have the waist and leg strap down here, which I'm not going to go pulling out. You have the external pocket for the M25-8A1 personal decontamination kit. You have two sand holes on the bottom here, just two little grommets for draining excess debris. You have a user ID window on the top here, and that's about it for the exterior. So here is a large pull tab for opening the Velcro flap. And then inside, really nothing to see. You have a large flat pocket spanning the back side of the carrier for the manual, the waterproofing bag, and other little flat things, I assume. You have the pocket up here, which I assume is for the nerve agent antidote kit, but we'll get into that in a moment. I'm not entirely sure what that's for still. And that's about it for the carrier. Here's the M25-8A1 personal decontamination kit used with the M17 and M25 series, and then also with the M40 and MCU-2P series. Not much to say about that. Pretty typical affair. Comes with two different sets of decon wipes to use, and there are about 3 each. So, nothing to be said there. Moving on, we have a little user issue tag that came with this mask, and I've not been able to really decipher what all this means. I have to assume it means certain details about the production quality of the mask and the conditions in which it was made and things like that. But again, not really too sure on that. You have the waterproofing bag, which is essentially just an M1 waterproofing bag, but relabeled for an MCU-2P or MCU-2AP mask. As far as I know, there's no difference in size and material. It's just different markings. I don't know why they did this, but whatever, it's a thing. Have the outsert, the plastic lens outsert for the mask, since the lenses on them were made of a very flexible and not fragile, but very prone to damage polycarbonate. So these polyurethane outserts will protect them from getting punctured, scratched up, all that good stuff. And these are not only made in clear, but also neutral gray tinted, and a very rare laser outsert that, as far as we know, have never reached the surplus market. MSA is confirmed to have possession of the laser outserts, but they are not releasing them to the public. You have to basically have to have a government contract for them to obtain them. Then we have the standard C2 canister. The black C2s were used with the MCU-2P series for the most part. However, later issue of the MCU-2AP and P masks used C281s when used with the second skin. Unfortunately, I don't have the second skin for this mask, as it was a very late issued accessory, and it's also a very desired accessory, very expensive, so I'm not going to bother with it. Just your typical canister. Nothing to see there. You have a nerve agent antidote training kit. This is not an actual nerve agent antidote kit. And you have the atropine injector, the prolidoxime chloride injector, and these do not contain live needles. As you can see, they have these little pegs at the end that you can use these recocking tools to spring load these pegs, and when you inject and you simulate injecting these into you, these little pegs spring out and poke you as if you were getting injected with a needle. Think of it as like an airsoft syringe. And these Mark I training kits are also kind of uncommon. I don't really see too many of these on the surplus market. Mine came with these little manual leaflets. They all say the same thing on each one. No difference between the two. Here we have the hood for the MCU-2AP or MCU-2P series masks. Similar to a quick-off hood, except a little bit cheaperly produced and with a few minor differences. Like it does not have an elasticated neck. It has a nylon neck drawstring. Sometimes these sliders are black. Has very lengthy underarm straps with Velcro patches. I don't even have to undo these to put on this hood. You can just slip them on. You have markings. Hood, chemical biological MCU-2P series mask. Contract number of 1990. Don't know when the exact date this one was made. On the inside of the hood, you have these little flaps here. These little snaps and straps, I guess you could say, for securing the hood to the temple straps of the mask to prevent it from slipping off from strenuous activity. The hood also has this rather large cup on the bottom of the opening for covering the outlet valve to maintain positive pressure inflation in the hood. There's also a little bit of a brim to prevent blister agents from getting caught in the rim of the top of the lens and resulting in degradation of the facepiece. Now let's move on to the mask before I run out of memory here for video. The mask, as I said, gray silicone, flexible polyurethane lens. You have the front voice emitter and microphone assembly here. This is what indicates an MCU-2AP, this little microphone jack here. I'll get into the interior microphone in a minute. Have the outlet valve. You can see a roundel of a date of 1993 made by MSA, and I'm sure the camera isn't picking this up because shitty GoPro. You have the drinking tube wrapped around that, and on the side here you have your side voice emitter with a very recessed ring, very unique to the MCU-2P series masks. Have a excuse me, I'm up to camera. You have an MSA serial stamp. You have US and medium markings, and also some other sort of factory marking written in Sharpie on top of there, which has mostly been rubbed off, unfortunately. You have the inlet valve. You have another roundel maker's stamp, and really nothing else aside from that. On the back here, you have the head harness, similar to a C8R1, except made of a more rugged elastic, and it has a donning loop on the back here. So, now that I've showed off the exterior, I'll move on to the inside and go on about that for a little bit before I wrap up the video. Now, aside from the fact that it is made out of silicone, being prone to blister agents, and the fact of its flexible polyurethane lens being prone to damage, this is by far the worst part of the mask. Its inner or nasal cup. It is way too wide, way too short, and it is just such a bitch to wear for me. I can only fit a size large MCU-2P merely because the nose cup fits more like a medium, or basically I can fit the face piece just fine, but the nose cup fits more like a small. But this is a medium nose cup, granted. But before I rant on any further, here is the inner drinking straw right there, and you see the M101/AC or AIC dynamic microphone installed in there. These will not typically come issued with these. You have to buy these separately, which is what I did. I have the inner airflow deflector here. and another MSA stamp of 1992 dated nose cup, and then on the other side is just the side voice emitter. I have one last accessory to show off for this mask before I wrap up the video, and that is something that you will never ever see for sale on eBay very often. You have to basically get in contact with other collectors in order to get a hold of these. And I know one person in particular has been really aching for me to show this thing off, so I'll go ahead and do that now. This is the HGU-65P Toxicological Agents Protective Hood. This was used for, obviously, decon work, and this is also listed as an EOD item. I'm not sure really what that entails, but you have this is the largest chemical hood I own, probably one of the largest chemical hoods in existence. I am 6'2", and if I'm wearing this and I crouch down, I can literally fit inside of this thing, and no, I'm not going to demonstrate that on camera, unfortunately. Not yet. It is double skirted like most TAP hoods, however this double skirt will not fit inside a TAP suit, which is kind of weird and makes you wonder why they included it. The HGU-65P is unique in the fact that it has an opening for the voice emitter as well. It has a molded-in outsert, which is not like a normal one where it has the two hooks for the top of the lens. There is just a foam pad on the inside for a seal. You have rubber gaskets on the voice emitter and filter openings. You have two retainer straps here for creating a seal of the lens against the facepiece, and these I imagine are a nightmare to decontaminate and are kind of a bad design quality like most of the mask. You have a little loop on the top here for hanging the hood to dry. You have markings on the bottom here. Hood, gas mask, toxicological agents protective, HGU-65P, contract number of, I believe, 1989, and mine is a size medium-large. There is a proprietary small size, which I do not own, because I cannot, nor will I ever fit a size small MCU-2P. I cannot even fit a medium, sadly. Inside the hood, there's really nothing to see, and thankfully this hood is so large I don't need to turn it entirely inside out to show you this, but there's the section for the facepiece. As you can see, it's just a giant rubber patch with the outsert molded in. Anyways, let me wrap up the video for you guys. So that was my overall basic review of the United States MCU-2A Chemical Biological Protective Mask. Would I recommend this mask for actual use? Sort of yes and no. It depends on what you're planning to go up against, and it's really also depends on if you fit this thing. I would say go with an MSA Millennium over this, because a Millennium is exactly an MCU-2P, except it is made out of black high-car rubber instead of gray silicone, so you don't need a second skin for it. There's also the MSA Advantage 1000, which is basically a more retarded version of an MCU-2P with lower quality parts, no drinking tube, and oftentimes bayonet filter attachments that you'll have to buy adapters for. But there is a bunch of other accessories for this mask which I sadly do not own, like the M7 Audio Pack voice protection unit, and as far as I know, only one country has made a copy of this mask, and that is Russia with its PMK5 GP21 mask. That's really all I have to say about this mask. I'm Duke Nukem 3D. If you have any questions or concerns relating to this mask, feel free to drop them below in the comments, and I'll see you all later.